Now, when you think of the rodeo, what comes to mind? Cowboys, the Old West, rounding up cattle? Well, for some, it conjures up images that are not quite so pleasant. National Finals Rodeo is in town, and for the last few years, it has brought with it rodeo fans and rodeo foes. This morning, we're talking about the pros and cons of this age-old event. Now, joining us right now is Steve Hindy. He is with SHARK. SHARK is an acronym for Showing Animals Respect and Kindness. Mr. Hindy says the National Finals Rodeo has been known to violate regulations that are specifically in place to protect the animals. Now, we did make a concerted effort to get someone in here from the NFR. In fact, we started calling them last Thursday morning, the same time we started contacting animal rights groups, but NFR spokespeople told us it was too short of a notice for them to appear this morning. We'd like to thank you, Steve, for joining us this morning.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here.
Now, first of all, tell us about some video that you say that you have obtained at the Professional Rodeo Cowboys Association steer roping contest and how this violates regulations in place to protect the animals.
Well, in October, I worked with a European documentary team that they wanted to check out rodeos. They had looked at our website, sharkonline.org, which had a lot of information about the truth of rodeo cruelty, and they said, we want to find out what the truth is. Would you be willing to go with us to some rodeos? And I said, sure. I said, let's pick out, let's see how many we can go to. They had about 10 days, and so we went to 3 different stock contractors, about 6 or 7 days of rodeo entirely. We started in Arkansas, which was the stock contractor was Harper, Morgan, and Auger. That's a PRCA stock contractor who, by the way, has animals at the NFR this time. And we filmed them shocking animals, which is shocking bulls in the chutes, which is a specific violation of the PRCA rules.
And they do that, what, to get them agitated so that they'll buck more? Okay.
So maybe so that they'll buck at all. I mean, these are not wild animals. These are domesticated animals. Then we went on to Liberty, Texas, and we filmed the Charlie Battles Rodeo Company, another PRCA stock contractor, at the NFR this year. And the same thing, shocking animals. But there was also, they had what they called a calf scramble, where they encourage kids to just brutalize calves. And
what do you mean by brutalize?
Well, these kids chase down these calves, and they've got them in headlocks. They're twisting their tails. They've got, in fact, they have the adults helping the kids if they figure that the kids need a little help. So it's not a, like all rodeo, it's not a legitimate competition. It's just, but this is a way that they start to desensitize children to treat animals cruelly. And then we went to Del Rio, Texas, right on the Mexican border. And that's where we filmed steer roping. Steer roping, of all the things that are cruel in rodeo, steer roping is the worst of the worst.
What is it for those of us who are not completely familiar with all of the rodeo events?
What happens is they have a steer, and they're twisting his tail in the chutes, and they're raking it back and forth over the steel fencing. And they finally, they're shocking him, and when they let the steer go, the steer runs, and the guy chases him on a horse, throws a rope around the horns. He's behind the steer, and he throws a rope around the horns, flips the rope over to the right side, and turns his horse sharply to the left. Well, what happens is that rope comes down at the legs and whips those legs out. And in a split second, a 600-pound plus body is taken by the neck and whipped over 180 degrees around and slammed on the ground. These animals hit the ground so hard that you often can hear the thud and feel it in the grandstand. And
this is a regular event. Why is it not done here during the rodeo at Thomas and Mack?
Well, the PRCA says it's not done because the Thomas and Mack isn't big enough. That's interesting, since the arena that we were filming in Del Rio, Texas, I don't think it was much more than 2/3 the size of Thomas and Mack, maybe less. And in fact, when animals were injured, there was one animal that had to be sledded out. There was no veterinarian on site, which is another PRCA requirement.
There's supposed to be vets there to take care of the animals if they're hurt.
Supposed to be a veterinarian on site.
I'm going to play devil's advocate because, you know, there are a lot of supporters of the rodeo out there, and we're not going to get rid of the rodeo. That would be like trying to get rid of bullfighting in Spain, as repulsive as many people find it. Repulsive as some of us may find that. Is there any way to meet halfway? Are there events that can take place at the rodeo that you would approve of?
I used to think that there was some meeting point. The problem is, first of all, the PRCA won't talk. When we filmed another stock contractor, the World's Toughest Rodeo, run by Stephen Gander, earlier this year, I tried to contact them right through their website. They will not talk to us anymore. We've got them cornered. So at this point, I mean, since they don't follow their own rules, they don't have the guts to send somebody here to even debate the issue. On short notice, they've got a whole army of PR people. That's just ludicrous. So what the problem is that
you're finding it hard to even sit down for a discussion with them?
There's no integrity on the other side. That's the problem.
All right. We're going to have more. We're going to talk more about this and the rodeo and what some animal rights groups call the dark side of the rodeo. When we come back, we're going to open up our phone lines, and we welcome all questions and comments on this topic. Since the rodeo spokespeople declined to appear on today's program, we'd be more than happy to hear from anyone out there who is not against this event and would like to tell us their side. Our number is 735-Day1, 735-3291. We'll be right back.